What it is, YouTube? It's your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys how to use limiters to achieve more depth in your mixes. A lot of the times people use limiters and they only think about the master fader, but you can do a lot more with limiters, and I'm gonna show you some gems here today. All right, so let's get to it. Let's not waste no time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Want to support the channel? Book a mix, go cop a preset, and suggest more video ideas. So let's get to it right now.
Put the fire on, I put the fire on. The murders are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed rave is on the way. Yeah. Even when we aren't hardly talking, I wanna expose our secrets. And we can fly to France, Berlin, London's not done, no, take you out of here.
Take you out of here, open up your map, show me where you wanna live. Touring Europe by your crib, ice on my wrist, they call me Sia. They said that they feel it, used to be the wicked, now I'm feeling wicked. Put carrots in my earrings, rolling with some savages, like why you think I'm fearless?
All right, really dope, really dope. So you get an idea of what we're working with here today. So what are limiters? Limiters are compressors with the ratio of 20 or more, pretty much. So imagine like a limiter is like when you go to the zoo, right? Or you go to a wax museum or some shit like that, and there's that protective glass wall that allows nothing to get through. You feel me? That doesn't allow that tiger or that bear to jump on the glass and grab you. You feel me? Imagine that's what a limiter is. It's kind of like that solid wall that says ain't nobody going through this thing, okay? It's that serious ass bodyguard, all right? So most importantly, first thing about it, we always think about limiters on the master fader, but what do limiters actually do? Of course, limiters actually do bring us up to that commercial level. They give us that volume, but they also compress the mix. They reduce dynamic range. So that's an important concept. You feel me? Because you know, everything has dynamic range. Like look at the vocal take. Look at how some parts are loud and some parts are quiet. You feel me? But in the context of a song, we want that bit to be pretty even. You feel me? So we can feel every word and every expression from the artist. So that's why I like to use a light, very light limiter on my master fader. Not my master fader, but on my lead vocal bus. And you see, like, it's two different artists, right? Two different artists. And, you know, one is kind of singing, the other one's kind of rapping. And just the nature of rapping, the way it is up front and forward. And I'm really trying to tell you something. Just the way that rapping is, it's always going to sound a little bit more impactful than singing itself, which is kind of a little bit slower and everything like that, all right? So to make sure that my transients, which is that first impact, coulda, shoulda, bop, boy, no. You feel me? The power of those words to make sure they all got that even power, that even electricity. I put on a limiter as the first plugin, and it's only tapping that thing just a little bit, just a little Valentine's Day. It's just only kissing it just a little bit, a dB here. You feel me? Type shit.
Hardly talking, I wanna expose. Hardly talking, I wanna expose our secrets. And we can fly to France, Berlin, London's not done, no, take you out of here.
Take you out of here, open up your map, show me where you wanna live. Touring Europe by your crib, ice on my wrist, they call me Sia. They said that they feel it, used to be.
So I like to use Pro L a little bit different from other people. I like to actually use it on the vocals. And I mean, even if you go to the presets, bruh, there should be a preset that says something about vocal. Look, vocals, natural limiting. So even this plugin was made for this type of technique too, where you're just using the limiter to control your vocal. And this is really good because it's at the beginning of the vocal chain, yeah? So let's say if there was a word like this one right here that had a little bit more energy, sometimes what that will do is that will make, like, you feel me, your compressor work too hard and it will fuck up the vocal chain. Imagine the vocal chain to be like a conveyor belt. You feel me? Like an assembly line type shit like that, where all of the different vocals and all the different words are different parts coming on that assembly line. You don't want that big ass part to come onto the assembly line and fuck up the rest of the flow of the assembly line. You feel me? Fucking up the factory type shit like that. So this is like your factory type shit. You feel me? So yeah, that's the most important thing. I don't like to tap it a dB or two. And just know that, you know, all of these different styles right here also kind of produce different sounds of digital distortion, which can add a different tone. So to use it on an actual vocal, first thing I do is I go over here and I click 1-to-1. So as I'm boosting my volume, that motherfucker is not changing the volume. You feel me? This is kind of like my threshold. You feel me? I'm getting more without getting more, like without just making it louder.
Put the fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed brief is on the way, yeah. Even when we are hardly talking, I wanna expose all your secrets. And we can fly to France, Berlin, London's not done, no, I'll take it right here.
So technically the volume itself isn't changing because it's 1-for-1 level match, but because there's less transients, what is the having those less transients do? It makes it sound more back, right? So this is a really dope concept. You feel me? I even do it on like background vocal stacks where I'll send all the stacks together to the same limiter. You feel me? And that same limiter will squeeze it. So this is why I have different limiters, right? Because look at this gem right here. I actually use the limiter as a stereo widener, right? So this limiter has mid-side processing on it. So I just only click it. And I used it as a stereo widener to make my shit wider. You feel me?
Only fearing DOD, so it don't make no difference if you're rolling with a team. I need a minute cause they tryna intervene. Sometimes they be good cause we play in different leagues. It's not my sleep. Only fearing DOD, so it don't make no difference if you're rolling with a team. I need a minute cause they tryna intervene. Sometimes they be good cause we play in different leagues. It's not my only fearing DOD, so it don't make no difference if you're rolling with a team. I need a minute cause they tryna intervene. Sometimes they be good cause we play in different leagues. It's not my sleeve, I got.
So of course we're doing a little bit of transient control, controlling it all up to damn near like 6 dB because there's like 3 vocal takes all stacked onto a Big Mac burger, all stacked onto each other, type shit like that. So I don't want that to become overwhelming. Like you heard when I bypassed the limiter, it was just like, oh my God, there's too much shit coming at you all at the same time. So that's where that transient control comes into play. And because we reduced the transients, we made it sound a little bit more back and blended into the mix without doing no EQ or like without even touching the actual volume fader. That's just that power of transient controlling. You feel me? Controlling the tip of that sound makes it sound more back. It's kind of like a boot that's clicking on the ground. The more you hear that boot clicking on the ground, the louder that transient is, you perceive it as being closer to you. But when somebody's walking away, the way their shoes is clicking, the volume is lower and lower and lower, so you perceive it as back. That's a part of the natural way that human beings hear. So you got to know that shit because you can apply it to your music to get that pro mainstream sound. So we showed it how we use it on the lead vocal. We showed it how we use it on the background vocal. Another great way I like to use it is on my reverb. You feel me? I like to use the motherfucking limiters on my reverb too, bruh, because when you use a limiter, it brings up the noise floor. And I always see people crying, you're bringing up the noise floor with compression, and that's why I never use compression. But you can use it as a tool. Even a plugin like, you guys know this plugin, Manny Reverb. Manny Reverb has a compressor right here. Right, so even a guy like Manny Marquin, he built that into his plugin because he knows how important that is, compressing the reverb, right? So because you compressing your reverb and you hear more of the noise floor of the reverb, which is like the tail, you can make the reverb sound longer than what it is without actually having to make the time long as fuck. So that's a super gem to get that reverb that is sounding short, but it still is, it feels longer. You feel me? So your mix can be cleaner that way. So boom. On this shit, I use the Valhalla delay reverb, and I don't even know how long that motherfucker is. But for me, it sounded short, right? So I use the CLA 76 after the fact to make this reverb shimmer, to make it feel longer than what it really is. And I like it. Makes the reverb feel more dynamic because there's certain parts where this reverb is now pumping and breathing with the mix. Like that brown paper bag type of flow.
They said that they feel it, used to be, yeah. Touring Europe by your crib.
Put the fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed brief is on the way, yeah. Even when we are hardly talking, I wanna expose all your secrets. And we can fly to France, Berlin, London's not done. Put the fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight.
I'm gonna boost the volume all the way up for the people who don't know how to hear, just so you know.
Put the fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed brief is on the way, yeah. Even when we are.
So the reverb sounds pretty smooth and everything like that. The length sounds relatively short. It's not stepping on it, but I kind of wanted to make it shimmer and make it a little longer.
Put the fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed reef is on the way, yeah. Even when we aren't hardly talking, I will not expose.
So now the reverb sounds like it's Jalen Waddle after a touchdown, like waddling. This shit sounds like a penguin, like Happy Feet. Like now it's become more jittery and more dynamics. And without no sidechain or no nothing like that, that dynamic is based on the vocal, the sound of the vocal going into the reverb and shit like that, right? So that's why you see like a situation where I'm actually sending the raw vocal to the reverb. So some really advanced shit. The raw vocal is going to the fucking reverb. So all of this dynamic movement and all that shit like that, meticulously is going into the hall reverb that is reacting to all that shit. Now I could have sent it from this, which is my lead aux, but that's the flat and pancake Lego My Ego vocal. You feel me? So this is the raw vocal before it even hits the limiter type shit. So I use that dynamic to my advantage. Now that my reverb is kind of like shimmering and twitching and doing all that crazy shit. But if you blend it at a low ass volume, it just gives the song more movement. Cause he's singing in that part. I put the fire on, I put the fire on, and we don't want that shit to sound boring. So we threw on a little bit of hot sauce, ketchup, and mayonnaise. That's that special seasoning that is blent in very low type shit like that. All right. And of course, last example I'm gonna show is just using a different type of limiter to generate distortion. Right, because all the limiters they all got a different flavor of salsa verde, salsa rojas, you know, type shit. And I know the L1 distorts a certain way. I know the Faraday distorts a certain way. I know the Pro L distorts a certain way, depending on how hard you smack it upside the head, depending on what type of mode you put that motherfucker in. And I know the L2 blends a certain type of way. So I wanted to separate these two Adlibs. These two Adlibs got the same exact chain, but we're just separating it through the distortion that the limiter gonna give us.
The fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed reef is on the way, yeah. I put the fire on, I put the fire on. Them brothers are just featherweight. We smoke and we just levitate. Detailed reef is on the way, yeah.
So it's a lot of shit going on. If I would have sent all these Adlibs to the same track, because they're all over the place, that would have kind of made it feel redundant. It wouldn't be a new flavor that we're adding to it. So you see the Adlibs are equally panned in both directions, and so that everything can be heard. Imagine if your little brother was talking to you on one side, your little sister was talking to you on the other side. It would be too much to hear. So what we're doing is we're adding distortion on this one, even though they're the same chain. We're putting this distortion right here, and it's adding a little bit of variance, all right? So that's pretty much the end of the video here today. Thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. I hope I was able to show you how to use all these dope ass limiters in a different ass way to add depth, add a different flavor, spice up your reverb, you know, control your lead vocal into your vocal chain, getting a smoother vocal chain to help you guys out. So thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Support the channel. Go grab a preset. Go book a mix. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.